an update on the environments visualization that we discussed, and some of the comments that were made. So I'm going to share my screen.
Just for your info, we are live streaming this on YouTube. That was easier. So
no, it's cool.
Let's not speak customer names and data.
Cool. So one of some of the feedback that we got was previously we had a design where we had these badges here, and if for example one workload type was going through all these statuses, then we would have had to have possibly like five badges. So I know we don't have this component, and I wanted to hear some of your thoughts and what you think of this design idea here to solve that particular challenge.
To me, it looks like a lot of information.
Mm-hmm. So you would only see it when you hover over the tooltip. So for example, if there are 9 pods here, you know, then we wouldn't have to have like 5 badges deploying, showing the statuses of all those 9. So I don't know, do you, if you have any other ideas that you have for trying to tackle this?
I think that might work. I guess I would expect here to see like a warning icon if something is wrong, and then I will just collapse the section and see what's going on in there. And maybe then when the section is uncollapsed, I could also see like every status being just one page in a row. Like, I would see 9 deployment pods and just one status near each row. Yeah, but your visualization gives more information without you need to interact with the UI.
Yeah, I think that's also another aspect we haven't maybe discussed, like, well, to what depth do we want to go to with this visualization, like in terms of troubleshooting.
I'm not sure I understand the question yet. Could you?
Yeah, so if we introduce like warning icons and statuses, if somebody opens, will it just be static information, just tell them that the pod has failed, or are we going to direct them to do something from here, which also like maybe we also need to balance out, like but I guess some of the information will come out from the dashboard research, like what do we have here, and what information do we want you to go into the dashboard for?
Yeah, definitely if the user sees an issue, they want to investigate. So and what typically how it's done is that they look at the events, related events, and related logs. So that's kind of the common pattern there. I don't know. The truth is I don't like this design very much. And the reason for that is that we don't use these squared feedbacks anywhere around GitLab. So even besides this, we have that, I don't know how you call that, number 2, which is in a rounded
the badge
shape, and it just it just tucks out of everything. And even if I understood well, Anna mentioned the same, that at first look doesn't give me as much information because I don't see the numbers. So I don't know whether it's something that was already stuck yesterday, and it should have a number of, I don't know, 5, or there is something new there and that increased or decreased. So having the number within how you had in the previous design, that was definitely a good thing. I don't know. Yeah. That's why what I shared with you, that if I don't know if it exists as a pattern at GitLab to have the high quality, these numbered 2 dots behind.
Stacked.
Sorry?
Yeah. I think it's called a stacked graph.
No, but what's at the very end? What's at the very end? The 2, number 2.
It's a badge.
Yeah. So whether we can have colored badges, for example.
Yes,
that just have the number in it, and then we can have those one by the other.
I see what you mean. That could also be so we could do so for the very same, they have one, for example, then just have the same colors.
Yeah,
this would be unknown.
And then if I hover over it, it describes what that color means. So whether it's pending, successful, or whatever. That would be my take on it.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah, I think that is actually scalable as well, because then you're just scaling numbers.
Yeah.
And then there was the issue that Timo brought up about the. I'll bring up the issue. But now I'll finish your design idea. Thank you for that addition. And then if someone hovers over it, it will just tell them what the state. And then you mentioned some other information like the time when it'll start, like last running.
Oh no, that's what I meant here. That this way, it might happen that they know that there are some, I don't know, failed pods. And when they open it, with this, at a single glance, they will know, okay, there is that failed pod. We'll take care of that. But there's nothing new. That would be disturbing. And that's why I think this is a good one. But I would actually consider this to be a great topic for solution validation, where we can show these different variants to users and get their feedback. Because now we have like 3 variants already, and they can then tell us what they understand out of these, which one do they prefer over the other, which one would they prefer if they would see it every day.
So that was going to be the next step with this. We'll do some validation. Some of the feedback we had from cool. What's your feedback? I hate it when GitLab does it. Yes, so for some of the workloads that, like I saw in this documentation that you actually set it manually, and the CPU will be the same as the memory or something like that.
Yeah, but those are limits.
Those are limits. So what's the what's the difference between those and the ones that a pod would the CPU memory that you'd show for a pod?
Yeah, so in Kubernetes, so the pods obviously consume CPU and memory because they are the basic workloads. The pods are described in all the other workload types. So all the other workload types themselves don't consume CPU or memory, but the pods that they manage do that. Okay. And what Timo referred to here is that in order to have a stable system, you can set various limits on your pods. And if your pod, and for example, your pod is not allowed to consume more than X% of CPU or have more than Y memory. And when it has, it will be killed, or if it's on the requests that are limited, then new pods might be spin up and so on. So that's how you can have a stable system.
So,
and the limits are not that useful because you often need to over provision these limits to make sure that the pods will actually work. It's really actual pod data that we are interested at.
And I know in our dashboard issue we had something around CPU and memory. What should we show for these? Or will it be different for each workload?
I don't think it needs to be different for each workload because all of them are workloads. Let me see some prior art and see what others do there. Mike, what I would say that showing CPU and memory makes sense. We just have to figure out where that CPU and memory comes from, and that's not always obvious. But yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter here.
And then, were you saying something, Anna? Oh, okay. And then in terms of, I mean, one of the things that's bugging me a bit is like in a typical environment, like how many pods would be under some of these workloads? Like, would it be hundreds? Because if we have if we're gonna have a table here just showing a row of pods.
Yeah. Any number.
X number.
Let's try to. Where is Firefox? Let me try to look up a few numbers from GitLab.
And I know, like, this is it might be an aside question. Are we going to have an overview of a combined cluster somewhere? Or is that not okay?
So yes and no. And by that, I mean that the user can create sorry, I'm just
No worries. Because I know we'll have different environments.
or the
This is
other
when
yeah, exactly. So basically the user might create an environment where they say that just show me the whole cluster.
okay.
But you might actually ask me about something else now. I just realized that. Because what's going on? They seemingly Lens made itself way more complicated than it was before. Okay.
They want you to sign in.
No, that's just one thing. That couldn't be an issue. They wanted me to sign up, and I had to pick a plan and so on. Okay, so there's so many things I want to say. First of all, in order to have CPU and memory metrics, we need to collect those metrics from the cluster. That's what typically Prometheus does, and that's what the observability team would support. Which means that very likely in the first versions, we won't have CPU and memory for anything.
Okay.
The next question, as you asked about the clusters, there might be situations. So there are, as you know, the clusters are basically composed of several nodes that are compute instances, and the pods run on them. Until now, we spoke about the pod memory usage, but it's 100% valid question to ask about the memory usage of the node. See whether the nodes are overloaded or whether we could actually shut down some nodes, or we need to increase the node size or decrease node sizes, and so on. And this is not in our current designs at all, and I think we shouldn't focus on it right now.
Okay.
Later on, as we create the standalone Kubernetes dashboard, there having a nodes resource is important and is interesting, but not for the environments page.
Okay.
Was there anything else I wanted to say among the many things? No, I think these two things are the important ones. So we might not have CPU and memory at all at first.
Cool. Then we can just have this.
I think we can design it with that, because we see if we have it, just we can drop it in the end, or have a variant without those or something like that.
And then would we? I know we have logs and matrices for the whole app.
The same there that we
at a pod level, or at a workload level.
Oh, right, yeah, definitely. For all of those, we could have logs and metrics.
Okay.
Actually, CPU is a metric, and with logs, we can ask for the logs related to the pods of that cron job. That makes sense.
Okay. Just edit. Yeah.
I think it might not be always super easy to provide such a thing.
And we said our future solution for logs and matrices is the ops trace.
Yes,
that's coming on. Okay. I'll try to dig around.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about these logs and metrics, because it does make sense, but it's not easy to get the logs for the pods of a cron job, basically.
Okay.
It's much easier to get those logs from the pods view. But that's why I had the feedback as well that I think we should add the pods row as well here in this summary, because like what logs would you get if you click at the top? Would you get all the logs of your system, or then you go into filtering stuff? So what you are asking here, that do we have logs for a cron job? That makes total sense. And I would say that no, we don't have logs for a cron job, but we do have logs for individual pods.
So would it be when you hover over these, or when you open the actual workload and view?
When I open it down, I think that's when it would show the pods.
You were saying I must have a something to explicitly say that these are pods.
Just create one more row instead of like, I mean that I would edit as the first one. So in front of deployments, have one that says pods, and you have the same numbers that we have at the top, but I think that's not a huge issue duplicating that, because
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
And then that will only be like pod. It'll be all the pods.
Yes, there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, cool. And then have the logs and matrices at that level.
Yeah. But you know what? I could even imagine here that we don't add these views, not like that, but the logs and metrics would be in the table if you open up.
If you expand,
if you expand the logs, the pods one, yeah. And what I wanted to say is that we might try to stack too much data into a single view now.
Yeah, because I mean, one of the questions a designer asked me was like, are you sure that you even want to do the dashboard since you are showing almost everything here? I was like, yeah, I guess that's a good question. That's why I was asking, like, how deep do we want to go here?
And I think because what we could do is that we have these rows here, just as you have them, but then these are not collapsible elements. But if I click on the pods, that's actually a link that opens a separate page with the pods view of our full scale dashboard.
Okay.
Like, do you got it? What I mean?
Yeah. So it wouldn't collapse. It wouldn't open, expand.
Yeah, but it would just reload the page showing the pods filtered to this environment. So only those pods that are relevant for here, and it would show blends,
something like this,
or
yeah, just the all the pods.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And then we have way more space for everything.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay.
And then we will have a lot of work for Anna as well, because then we have to build a proper dashboard.
Yeah. Are you I didn't hear you saying anything about flying to America, so I guess you're not going to
I'm not.
one.
No.
Okay. Andrew Newdigate well, he's gonna pre-record his talk. Yeah. You said have you spoken at KubeCon, Victor?
No. I
Okay.
attended but never spoken. I applied, but it wasn't accepted, my talk.
Yes, because I think there are too many Git levels to try and submit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then yeah, I think I will update this design. And then there was also the issue of services. Timo mentioned namespace, so I'd already removed it until I saw your comment. Let me just pull it up here. We said because the assumption was that this app would be in the same namespace and that there would be no need to show the namespace column.
It's very likely that often these will be, but here, you know what, here again with services, I mean, I don't know.
It's overkill.
Oh, okay. I will say what I said that I don't know. What I thought that if from the summary page we have links out to the dashboard for deployments, for pods, etc., why not to have the same for services? That instead of opening the services in here, we just link out. And the truth is, what I said that, oh no, I don't know, is that it might make more sense to have the services in here, because showing the external IP, that's an easy access to the service endpoint actually. So they can quickly get there. But yeah, often namespaces will likely be the same, but not necessarily. That's the situation.
Okay. So services can be shared across namespaces.
Yes.
Okay, I see. Makes sense. And the last one was this one. And yeah,
I mean,
it was mentioned.
that's just cool. That I didn't have anything to add.
Okay. Somebody did say last week in the meeting that there's links to these in the official Kubernetes documentation. I just that they're not here. So that so I was thinking before we might not have documentation ready, but
I think that makes sense actually. That would be nice, like to or at least for the scope to link out to our docs to describe what it means. I think that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. And then do you have any feedback on this overview here?
I like it.
Cool.
I mean, even if we duplicate the data in the summary row, if we have a pod row as well, I think it's not an issue, but it just makes total sense to me. I like it. We would need, I think, designs for all these statuses, like with the healthy and the last sync there, that might have several statuses. But that's it. I think we are more or less ready for a more detailed design as well.
Okay, cool. So I think the next stage is the maybe high fidelity, and then we can organize some validation.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And here, what we discussed, that you having the discussion with Emily,
yeah,
we useful at this stage before we get into the high fidelity.
Oh yes, okay, good point. Good point. I'm actually going to schedule something with her after this meeting. And then our second issue. Are we okay to move on to our second issue?
Yeah. Anna, are you available? Because this is about your proposal.
Yeah, I'm here. I just stop in the video so
Okay.
I can see you and hear you better.
No problem. Yeah, so I really liked your idea. So I just so your idea was to, I can't wait until the gallery is implemented. So the idea was to combine the text in the banner and include it in the overall copy, and then to also, yeah, I wasn't sure if we had a styling around this, so thank you for showing the text input. But yeah, the basic idea is to help users get started, or at least know how to share the agent at a group level so that they can start seeing it, which is something that users are currently struggling with. I know that this is getting deprecated. Do you know any other component that can do the same thing that we can use? Anna?
I didn't know that it's deprecated. Let me see.
Well, they say it's in the process of getting deprecated. It's not completely.
So it is a button group.
Yes.
And this one is being deprecated.
Mm-hmm.
And having tabs within tabs doesn't seem to be like a nice idea. I guess.
Yeah, that's true. But we will have tabs only if the certificate-based clusters are available, like the feature flag is enabled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would we get like a design for that, like how that would look like here?
Okay, I'll explore something. But yeah, I just noticed like last week as I was going through the components that it's getting deprecated for some reason. It's called segmented control. Please refrain from using this component. Anyways,
it's not nice that there is no alternative proposed.
Yeah. So
yeah, but I think the button group component is not deprecated.
Okay.
Like if you go to the pajamas once again and to the button section.
Or maybe did they replace it with that?
Yeah, probably. And in the bottom they have an example for the group.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Cool. Awesome. Okay.
And then what did you show that is deprecated?
It's called a segmented control.
Oh, okay.
So I think they are. They are.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Cool. I guess that's that. And then, in terms of the actual snippet is this correct?
The thing is that right now we don't have a solution for sharing GitOps at the group level. We only have it for CI/CD.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the plan or something similar, but we don't have it yet. So I think we can just reopen this
CI/CD.
topic once we have it.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, otherwise I'm happy with your proposal, and I guess I can maybe update the prototype, and then we can
Is it needed?
no, if Anna is comfortable working
Yeah, I'm comfortable with
The-
working as is
with the
because it's just
information.
a text
Okay, cool.
changes.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, those are the design issues.
For next week, I will be out, and that's rather unfortunate at this point. But what I would like to discuss once is what we didn't manage to discuss on the first call, the user experience around the environment CRD. Let me move it over here for next.
Cool. Yeah, that's a interesting one. I showed you the idea that I had. It was also from that. So hopefully, once we have a clear picture, we can start working on some of the ideas, or at least doing some discovery.
Cool.
And then so I mean, once we're doing some of this validation, in terms of the next issues that I can that we can maybe think about, I don't know if it's urgent, or I mean what they need, but the support getting started with the agent configuration.
I think we should first figure out this user journey. That's very much user experience related thing, and we have to figure it out well. That how will this environments actually be set up? How will that be connected to the cluster from the user's point of view?
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, that's it. I guess yeah, we can stop the recording.
Yeah, cool. It's good that we have these actually, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I guess our team meeting is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you going to share this there? That will be nice actually.
Yeah, I'll share that.
That's cool.